Hi, Dan.
And my name is my name is Ben Dessard. I'm a health and nutrition coach. I was a retreat leader at Aroha a couple years ago, and I'm now based in Spain. And we are here today to talk about our new online program called the Seasonal Renew, which we started in January, a little bit as a response to the global situation and feeling like we wanted to give support at home to people and create a sense of community around health, around self-care. And so this program was born, and we had such a nice feedback and felt like this was really working for people that we decided to make it a seasonal event, which is actually more or less the recommendation of the researcher who created this scientific protocol, Dr. Walter Longo. And we're using this research to create our program. And it seems that the benefits of doing this practice is in repeating it a few times a year. And so we're going to be answering a few questions. We've been collecting questions from our community, and this is question and answer. So I think we can jump straight into it.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. And thank you guys for sending in your questions. Even if you haven't had a chance to send them prior, you're welcome to post them now. And if they're sent through during the live broadcast, we'll get a chance to answer them. So we'll get right into it. The first question that we received was, do you need any prior experience for this cleanse? And I would say that in general, we will always have our very first cleanse, right? I still remember my first fasting experience. So no matter what, we start off as having not had an experience, and then we build um, an intelligence in our bodies. And I've just noticed that with each fasting experience, I've gotten to know myself a little bit better. I've certainly got to know my cravings a little bit better, and gotten to know how to be with those aspects of myself. And I've gotten clearer on what serves me in terms of food and energy, and just living vibrantly through nutrition. So you don't need any experience. And what I would say I really love about this particular program, having done a lot of different styles of fasting, fasting mimicking, uh, you should know involves food. So while 5 days probably sounds like a really long time if you're new to this world, what we're going to be doing is eating 3 meals a day. So the macronutrient profile is still such that your body will go into a fasted state in quite a powerful way. But to me, in my body, I've always found this particular style to be quite gentle and really approachable. So I think it's a great place to start for somebody who's new to this. And I think for those of you that are more experienced, you'll still find that it gets you there.
Great. Well, I guess you kind of answered what I see as the second question, which is what is a fasting mimicking diet? And if I can just complement a little bit on what you touched on, which is yes, we're eating food, particularly um, designed menu to create the internal environment in the body that is similar to the one you access when you fast. And so essentially that involves a form of calorie restriction. So we are reducing the amount of food that we are eating. And we've created two options. So based on your body weight and based on your goals, your health and weight goals, you can choose between the two menus. They have slightly different amount of calories, but just to keep it simple, we eat about 800 calories per day throughout those 5 days. And as opposed to, most people might be eating between 1700 and 2500 calories. So this is 30 to 40% of the food that we would normally eat. So it's still a significant amount of food, especially since we're focusing on vegetables. And because vegetables don't have much calories, we can eat plenty of them and still not have so many calories. So what we're doing with this program is creating a menu where we take the seasonal available foods, mainly the vegetables, and create delicious recipes where you can learn to use the seasonal vegetables and make nutritious and tasty recipes while keeping the calories down. So not only it's a chance to um, reap the benefits of fasting, but also to have a new way of looking at food and preparing food. So I think that's one of the benefits of this program, which leads to the next question. That is, what benefits do we get from this type of cleanse? And there are many benefits, and a lot of research is being published on the fasting mimicking diet. So I invite anyone that is curious to learn more to do a bit of research. And it's very easy now to find what Dr. Valtolongo and his team and other labs have done on the fasting mimicking diet. But because the theme of this upcoming one is mental health, I'd like to touch on the benefits regarding mental health. And to me, mental health is getting to understand how our mind, the thoughts, the emotions, how they function and how we can relate to them. And by gaining that awareness of how our thoughts, our emotions are affecting us, I think um, we gain an understanding that allows us to be more um, at ease with whatever arises in our minds. And this particular program takes us into a new, it's like an adventure. You know, Aroha is adventures in well-being. And so this 5 days, I see it as a bit of an adventure where we get new conditions, we're exposed to um, different parameters, we're eating less than usual, and we somehow get new information. Our body, our minds get new information. We're like, oh, what is this? New thoughts, new emotions are arising. And this is an ideal situation to get to learn about our relationship with food, the thoughts and emotions that we have around food. And if we enter that program with that curiosity, with a desire to learn about ourselves, then we receive all the information available to get to understand our mind, our reaction, our relationship with food. And the more we do this kind of experience, the more um, we get a clear understanding. And I feel that out of that understanding naturally comes more mental health, which is um, nothing other than just being aligned and being aware of how this body mind complex that we are functions. Um, so I think we'll be talking more about that throughout the program, and there are other benefits, but I think we'll keep that for another time.
Mm. Yeah, well said. It is. I agree with that reflection that it's such an interesting space that you get into where you start to kind of almost see what's unseen or become aware of what is not always, in our awareness. All right, the
Mm.
next question, gang, is what if I get very hungry while I'm doing this program? And I think that's a very reasonable question. And I still to this day when I fast, I feel hunger, And one of the things that surprised me a little bit about fasting is that hunger is not linear. And we often think that if we don't eat, that our hunger will just kind of slowly ramp up until, a feverish, quiver takes over the body. And, we also often imagine that our energy will go down. We equate food with energy. And what I notice is it's not quite that simple. In fact, you can think of hunger as a little bit more like cravings. They tend to last for a few minutes at a time, and then they pass. So you'll have moments even on day 5, you will have moments where you are completely unaware that you're fasting, and in fact most of your day you will probably be unaware that you're fasting, and then you'll just have these kind of blips where all of a sudden the mind goes, oh my gosh, I would love something. And so almost kind of taking on from what Ben was saying, it's such an interesting practice just to kind of be in these spaces where we feel cravings. Because in this case, the craving might be a glass of wine, or it might be, whatever, a hamburger or something. But in our lives, we have cravings for all sorts of things, and we know that many of those things aren't serving us. So we might have habits that don't serve us in any aspect of our lives. So we get to practice the flexing of the muscle of becoming aware of craving and consciously choosing our response to those cravings. So when you get really hungry, the one of the instructions I've always had, which I loved, is drink. You can always have tea. You can always have water. There's a list of things that you can always drink when you're hungry, and it really helps and usually gets you through it, and you're able to tick on along. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I think with this topic of being hungry, again, it's I think it's about the attitude in which we enter something like fasting. And if the attitude is curiosity, we're doing this as a short-term experiment, then it's like we get to know what hunger is. It's like, this is hunger, and maybe not going on to a whole story of this is bad, or I'm just being curious and feeling into that. I think it empowers us to to experience hunger, which a lot of us never really have before. So I think that's a cool thing to explore. Let's jump onto the next question. So should I not do this cleanse if I am on my period? Okay, so that's a good question, because yes, when we fast, we are creating a form of stress for the body, a nutritional stress, which, a little bit like exercise, has benefits in the recovery period. When we exercise and we put our muscle tissues under stress, then the recovery period allows for the rebuilding of these tissues in a stronger manner. And in many ways, fasting is doing the same. We and I might not go into the details on how we create the regeneration of tissues from fasting. We first break them down a little bit, and then we regenerate, and we have a whole rejuvenation mechanism that is being activated through fasting. But if we feel that we are in a state where we are already weak, maybe already tired, and we don't feel this is the right time for fasting, I believe that it's important to listen to that. And we have a whole lifetime to explore that practice, and we should feel excited, we should feel motivated, and we should feel good to get into a program like this. It should be from an attitude of self-love, of self-care, of not of forcing anything. So when women are on their period, they might maybe not feel like fasting, and I know some women that are like that, and they prefer to do it um, in the follicular phase of their period, and but others are also totally fine fasting on their period. So I think just just to have some awareness, if you want to try to do it during your period, just be aware of how you feel. And I always tell everyone that if at some point during the program, you if it doesn't feel right, if somehow there is too much drowsiness or tiredness or headache, and somehow the body doesn't feel good doing this, it's okay to stop and to try again another time. That, fasting is something that builds over time. We don't just get into fasting and and just get very comfortable with it right away. It's something we build over time, and so I would say it's okay to try and explore and then see how it feels. If there is some menstrual problems or hormonal imbalances, I would strongly suggest to first consult a doctor to see if this program is appropriate. But otherwise, I think it's okay to do it on your period, and just to be cautious how you feel, and maybe try next time when you're not on the period, and see the difference. I think that's always best to experiment. Um, cool. Should we jump into the next question?
Yeah, sure. Let's see, I've got one here. How long do you need? Oh, I just dropped off my screen. How long do you need to fast? I saw, oh, here we go. Here it is
Yeah.
again. How long do you need to fast for the benefits? That's a good
Oh,
question.
can
Yeah,
I say something about
yeah,
that?
go for it.
Because, and that's something Dr. Valtolongo says. It's, well, actually, the word fasting doesn't really mean anything. It's like saying eating. Oh, I'm eating. Okay, how are you eating? What are you eating? What do you mean by eating? And fasting is the same. Like, how are you fasting? For how long? With what? With food, without food, with juice, without juice? So, when we say, oh, I'm fasting, it's like, okay, what does that mean? And because there's many ways of fasting. And in truth, all of us are fasting every night. We have a time of non-eating between dinner and breakfast, and this is a period of fasting. That's why the first meal of the day is called breakfast, because this is when you break your fast. So that said, different forms of fasting have different benefits. And shorter term fasting, like what we call intermittent fasting, of prolonging the time between dinner and breakfast, is going to have some some benefits. Then you can go into a longer, 24 to 48-hour fast, and that will have other benefits. It's going to start affecting the microbiome, the gut health. And then if you go further down the line, like we're doing with this 5-day fasting mimicking diet, we're accessing the cellular repair, the autophagy, and then upon refeeding of these longer fasts, we get the stem cell activation, the tissue renewal, the very deep anti-aging effects. So there's a whole range, and I always encourage people to start with the more gentle forms of fasting. So either intermittent fasting, or what we're doing here, which is a fasting mimicking diet, where we fast with food as opposed to just on water. Um, but no matter what kind of fasting we're doing and how long, as long as we're doing it with the attitude of curiosity, of awareness, there's always something to learn. And even if it's not a scientifically proven benefit, as long as you're learning about yourself, that's the main benefit, I believe.
Oh, well said.
Mm.
Is fasting good for weight loss? Is the next question. And I think I can start that one off. Fasting obviously creates weight loss, at least in the short run. And kind of leading on from what Ben mentioned there, we there so you will lose weight when you fast, of course. In a sense, you can think of having three levers that you get to pull in regards to food in general. You get to pull the lever of what you eat, you get to pull the lever of when you eat, and you get to pull the lever of how much you eat. For us, we're basically creating a bit of a structure that works with all three of those. and you will certainly see weight loss through the 5 days, probably significant weight loss. But it's not for us probably the number one purpose of fasting. The state of autophagy that you go into, ketosis, is really, I think, what Ben and I feel is the greatest benefit of the program. That being said, what I've noticed in my own body is that each time I fast, I kind of refresh or reflash my awareness around nutrition, because I'm paying attention to what I'm eating and I'm choosing to eat really healthy things. And what I notice is that without any conscious restriction, without any, effort, I tend to shift slightly what I'm eating even after the fast, and I tend to have healthy weight loss. So it seems to be, what happens, and I think most people enjoy that aspect if they're interested in losing weight. And then I notice that I don't lose too much weight. I just seem to come to a healthy balance.
Mm.
Anything to add on that, Ben?
Yeah, it's interesting because, and this is what the research is also showing, not just with weight loss, but other health parameters like blood pressure and blood glucose, that the fasting mimicking diet is having a different effect than more extreme water fasting or more prolonged calorie restriction. And the difference is that the if you start with healthy levels of blood pressure and blood glucose, the fasting mimicking diet doesn't seem to take it further down. It stays at healthy levels. Whereas if you do more advanced calorie restriction or water fasting, your level will keep going down, which is not desirable. Whereas if they are too high, they regulate to more normal levels, which is what we want. And somehow it seems that it is doing something similar with the weight loss. If people have more weight to lose, there is more weight loss happening through the fasting mimicking diet. Whereas if people are already at healthy weight, and I experience that, I'm doing it 4 times a year, and my weight is not changing so much. I might lose, a kilo and a half, and a week or two afterwards, I'm back to my normal weight. So I'm not creating a big yo-yo, and it's quite stable. But at the same time, some people who do lose up to 4 or 5 kilos in these 5 days, and so it's just interesting to see how we're using something gentle that is just driving the health parameters to their desired ranges.
I've tried fasting before. What makes this program different?
Well, I think we kind of answered that already. When I explained that there's so many different ways of fasting, I think the key here is that we're eating food based on scientific protocol, and but we're using that scientific protocol, the amount of calories and the percentage of macronutrient, the fat, the carbohydrate, protein, which is clearly defined by the guidelines of the fasting mimicking diet. We use that, and we create a seasonal menu with whole foods and new recipes each time. So it's just we're combining fasting and cooking and discovering new recipes and having fun with food, and creating a loving relationship with food. So I think that's what makes this form of fasting that we're offering quite unique.
Yeah, for me, I one of the things I really enjoy is that I feel quite functional. I mean, I've done everything from water fasting, through to juice fast and things of that, and it's kind of like you almost kind of you just stop eating. And
Mm.
I notice like this program, just to give you guys a bit more detail, kind of drops you in terms of calorie count even. So your first day is a little bit closer to a normal day, and you're just kind of easing your way into it, and it just feels functional. I'm able to, if I choose to, I'm able to, have normal days and work and go for walks and be in the hills and basically just be a normal human. And of course, I choose to take a bit more time when I'm fasting, and I don't push myself as much. in terms of productivity, but the energy is there. So I really enjoyed that part.
Mm, great. Um, the question popping up now, we've answered before. So I think we'll jump to the next one. Um, mhm.
I see one there. It says, "What else do I get with this program besides the
Mm,
menu?"
yeah,
That's a
that's
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, because we're coming from the wellness and well-being side of things. We're not a medical institution just focusing on research, and we really want this to be a holistic experience. And we believe that, so yes, the menu, following the menu, is the key of this program, and you might just do that and reap plenty of benefits. But we felt that providing holistic practices like walking meditation, so we have some guided audios, some guided meditations. We provide certain exercises like journaling exercises to help people reflect through the experience and gain more awareness about what's going on. We provide videos with yoga sessions where we encourage people to do gentle movement, which is quite important during this program. And then what we do is that every edition, every season has a new focus, a new topic. And what we do is create a video series around this topic. So this upcoming one is mental health. And so every day of the program, each participant receives an email that contains a new video, and we discuss the topic. And again, we have a holistic approach. We discuss lifestyle, nutrition, and offer certain practices that can be used to create a sustainable journey on this path of well-being. And yeah, this is what we offer. But the key is the menu, and then anything else, I guess, is optional and depending on people's time.
Yeah, gang. And even though we're having a theme every time we do these, you can mental health is for everyone, right? Like who doesn't want to feel good? Who doesn't want to feel joyful, connected, and in love? So know that there'll be some interesting bits on that, but that the core of the program will remain the same. So we're running out of time here. So I just really wanted to finish here by thanking you all for sending in your questions. Thanks for listening in. If you'd like a bit more information, you can head on over to aroha.com. It's aro-ha.com. The link will be in the description of this program, and you can learn more, learn about the dates and the what it takes to sign up and join us. So we hope we can see you on more of these lives. We include 3 live sessions with each program, so you'll get to spend more time with us and more time with a like-minded group of individuals that are all interested in thriving in this life. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks, Ben, for joining us. This is quite cool. So the sun is rising in France where Ben is, and the sun is setting where I am.
Yeah,
So this
in Spain, but near
Oh,
France.
Spain, there it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
so truly an international community that we can all join in on. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.